Okay, so since it's the off season, the main topic of this episode today is to focus on the current roster for the San Antonio Spurs as I sit here on Saturday evening, August 24th. So I kind of want to just break down the Spurs roster and where it stands right now. So right now, as I mentioned here in the intro, the Spurs do have 21 players on their roster. I want to go through each player on the roster and mainly go through who they are and based on their contract in terms of, are they on a guaranteed contract, two-way contract, those kind of things, training camp contract, those kind of questions. And then from there, I'll kind of break down the roster a little bit further. Okay, so let's first go through the players on guaranteed contracts. And I do want to mention that I am listing the players by their salary first. So that's why you might hear some players maybe who aren't the number one or two option on the team, but they might be their name might be coming out. A little bit further on down the line here. Okay, so let's first go through the players on guaranteed deals. There's 15 players on guaranteed contracts. So there's Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes, Zach Collins, Victor Wembanyama, Chris Paul, Stephon Castle, Trey Jones, Jeremy Sohan, Malachi Branham, Julian Champagny, Blake Wesley, Charles Bassey, Sandro Mamukelashvili, and Sidi Sissoko. So again, right now, the Spurs do have 15 players on guaranteed deals, and that means that before the regular season starts in mid-October, that's the amount of players any NBA team can have. The max is you can have 15 players on guaranteed deals, and then you can have up to 3 players on two-way contracts. Okay, so now let's go into the two-way contracts. The Spurs also have all three of those spots cleared out as well. So they have Jamari Bouye on a two-way contract. They have Harrison Ingram, the second-round draft pick, on a two-way contract, and then they re-sign David Duke Jr. this offseason to a two-way contract as well. So again, that's 18 players total on the roster. Again, 15 players on standard contracts, completely full guaranteed contracts, and then 3 players on two-way contracts. So now here's where it gets interesting because the Spurs, like I mentioned, they have a full roster right now in the offseason with 21 players. These are the players who are signed to what we call training camp contracts. Okay, so those players are Riley Minix, who was on the summer league team. He went undrafted in the NBA draft, but he signed a training camp contract with the Spurs. There's Malachi Flynn, who had recently played with the Detroit Pistons last season. He was also part of the New York Knicks and the Toronto Raptors before being traded to Detroit. So he was an unrestricted free agent recently, a few weeks ago, and he signed with the Spurs on a training camp contract, it looks like. So again, his deal is non-guaranteed, as is Minix. And then finally, the 21st player on the roster, the newest addition was Brandon Boston Jr., or some people call him BJ Boston. He spent time with the Clippers throughout his career, and so he's also on a training camp contract again. So right now, those last 3 players, Minix, Flynn, and Boston Jr., they are not on guaranteed contracts. So right now they're basically fighting to earn a roster spot, and even to earn a roster spot means they have to play so well in both training camp and the preseason that the Spurs would be willing to either trade a player to open up a roster spot for them, or waive one of the current players, one of those 15 players I mentioned, on guaranteed contracts. So again,